Hi Inderes TV. Today I'm here with PYN Elite's Maggie Yi, who will give us an update on the Vietnam stock market and PYN Elite's portfolio. Welcome, Maggie.
Thank you, Sarah. It's nice to join Inderes interview as always.
Yeah, it's so nice to have you here. First, let's jump into the Vietnam stock index in general. It has been on an uptrend recently and it has risen 15% since the beginning of the year. What are the key drivers for this positive market sentiment and what are PYN's estimate for the development of the index for the rest of the year?
Yeah, sure. This year so far, the market has been performing quite well. I think number one, the macro data, every month we are seeing very good macro data. We are seeing more than 10% export growth, between 10 to 15% export growth every month, and it's accelerating. And we're seeing the highest record of FDI, foreign direct investment disbursement into the country consistently, record high level. And the retail sale growth, it has been growing at high single digit. So all this shows the economy is on a recovery trend. And not to forget the foreign tourism has been exceed the pre-COVID level. It has been doing very strong. And that's first is macro. Second is we know that this year so far the interest rate has been low and it's still at very low level. And the third is the valuation within index. The PE has been below its average. So investor took note of that. And with the low deposit rate, people start to see that the PE should be re-rated. And the fourth, and that's the most important thing, is the Vietnamese listed companies start to have good earning growth again. In first quarter, the whole market, the net profit grow 11% year on year. And with all the improving macro trend we are seeing so far, I think the second quarter to the fourth quarter, we will see the better earning growth. And there are also some concerns, for example, that first is the currency, that people are worried about the Vietnamese dong depreciation. So that put some cap on the Vietnam index performance. And the second, I would say that at beginning of the year, the people are quite excited about the KRX deployment. It has been delayed, so that makes people less excited about the market. So lately, we can see that it has been performed, but lately a little bit soft. Toward the end of the year, I think those two concerns could be addressed one way or another. The state bank has been under pressure to manage the currency, but if the Fed would cut rate just once, it would leave a lot of pressure off the table. So it will be good for the currency and for the sentiment. And the second is if there is some movement, development regarding KRX and the market upgrade, it will bring excitement to the market again. So by year end, I feel like the base case is the index should go to 1,500 or 1,600. That's the base case. However, if there are some good positive develop in the market like KRX, then I think Patrick's forecast of 1,700 is very likely to hit. I have seen some develop in the market. For example, people are buying into the stock that's showing the most certain growth and in the best industry like technology stock, and people do have the appetite to push the stock valuation at quite a high level, and the valuation stay there firmly. It shows that if people see growth and if people see no risk, they are ready to put money on the table. And when everything is improving further, I think investor will chase other stock that has not been performing that well.
Yeah, that's interesting. Let's of course hope for the positive development. You mentioned the KRX trading system. Let's talk about that a little bit more. The system was supposed to launch on May 2nd, but the launch was delayed last minute. What were the reasons behind the delay?
The KRX is a system that has been trying to deploy for the past 10 years. So when people were doing the testing, all the government agencies, stock market participants doing the testing, there are some problems. And because the system is a little bit old, even it brings a lot of modern product features. So during the testing phase, a lot of people felt it's not ready. If bring on in May, it could have some technical setback. So when certain government body feel it's not ready, they didn't sign the approval for testing at last minute. And till now, I think there are two scenarios. The first is the KR after intensive testing and fixing the technology solution, there is a possibility that we will see the testing of KRX again in September. Second, that because the nobody really like the system in the sense that it's old, need to do a lot of technology fix. Now there is another voice that's growing stronger and stronger that they say that maybe government could think about giving up this KRX system, and they can just involve a good domestic technology company and use new system. And I personally and a lot of the investor in Vietnam, they themselves personally would like the second option. If the either way, if it keep testing in September, or they just want to give up the project and go with the new system, is a good development for the stock market.
Okay, yeah. So regarding the new timeline, it could either be in autumn, or then it could actually be that another system will take over and the KRX won't be launched at all. Okay, that's very interesting. Interesting to follow what happens in the future. Well, next, let's talk about brokers and especially DNSE. So last autumn, PYN Elite invested in this techno broker called DNSE and now owns 11% of the company. And the company had a successful IPO in January. But according to your latest investor letter, PYN is not likely to hold its broker stocks for long, but DNSE is an exception and it's meant to be a long position. Could you first just tell a little bit what kind of company is DNSE and what are the profit and growth drivers for the company?
DNSE, I would say it's a technology company. They focus on developing good technology products, enabling ordinary investors to invest into stock market. So they are a broker, but they are technology-based broker. We didn't like traditional broker that much because they have to hire 600 or 1,000 brokers into their company, and they like a human broker, and them need to take care of the customers. So it's a very labor-intensive business, and the competition is getting higher and higher. But for DNSE, they don't need to hire that much broker because everything they bring customer, they serve customer based on their superior technology products, such as AI broker, or such as just good trading platform, and serving a lot of products for the customer, so the customer would like to open account with them. So the growth driver for the customer, the first and the most important thing is that to grow its customer base. Currently, they have 700,000 customers, and they aim to have 3 million customers within 3 years. And at the moment, their market share in the market is about 1.5%. That's the latest. And they aim to grow within 3 years, 5% market share in Vietnam. And I think it's quite likely because based on their superior product and their very interesting marketing in the market, every month, the new account opening, every 3 accounts, 1 account is open with DNSE. So if this trend keep going, I think eventually their customer base will reach 3 million and their market share will triple or even higher than their current level. And so that's their growth strategy.
Okay, yeah. Well, how does DNSE stand out from its competitors?
It stands out in many ways, but I would rate the management team number one factor. The management team, unlike the traditional broker, they are very technologically savvy. They know how to code and they know how to build a successful fintech product, and they also experienced in the finance industry, so they combine this technology and finance very smoothly, and I think that's number one is the management, and the second is they focus on technology, unlike traditional brokers focus on just getting a lot of human broker into the company and focusing on cutting fee, compete on the low fee. What DNSE, for example, is doing now, they have an AI broker. So instead of customer like me asking my broker, what's your advice on this? Should I buy that? And the customer could ask the AI. And sometimes I ask, what do you think about Sacom-pankki? Or I ask, which industry should I buy? And then the AI broker will give me very good answer, will tell me how's their recent quarter financial statement look like, and what's the historical valuation, what's the current valuation. Sometimes they tell me what's the target price. So they try to give this advice. So they don't really need to hire a lot of human broker. So if looking at the profit per employee, because they are very lean, and the profit per employee for DNSE, I think it's the second highest in the market. The first, the most profitable in terms of per employee basis is also a technology-based broker. So I think that's the trend for this industry. And the third is that because they are very, the team is very young and they are very creative, innovative when it comes to the marketing. They know how to interact with customers on social media platform, and they know how to get the most trendy content that entertain the customers, but at the same time grow their brand awareness. So they don't need to spend dollars on advertisement. They use their own content to generate a lot of attention and therefore their customer base.
Yeah, that sounds really good. So regarding AI, it sounds like the company uses AI quite heavily in the business. It plays a big role. Well, then, generally about brokers, how does the stock market cycles affect the earnings of the broker companies?
It affects a lot. Usually for an ordinary brokers in Vietnam, for 40% of their profit comes from their own investment portfolio, and 40% comes from the margin lending, the money they lend to their customer, and they charge an interest spread, and only 20% from brokerage commission. If it's a low-cost broker or zero-fee broker, then they don't earn the brokerage commission at all. It's purely from their investment income and lending income. So that when the market is doing well, usually brokers have very good investment income. That's what we have already seen so far this year. Every broker reports very good investment income from their own portfolio investment. And the second is the lending. When the market is going up, usually retail clients, when the market is going up, they like to buy, and then they boost up the trading volume. And usually when they buy, they like to take margin loan. So the more margin loan they use and the more frequently they trade, the more fee the broker could earn, both from the commission and the margin lending. So it's a very cyclical stock. When the market is going up, the broker report really good profit. But when the market is going down, usually their income statement is quite quiet. So in our view, we are projecting a bull market, obviously. So the broker will be the obvious beneficiary.
Yeah. Well, then let's talk about AI a little bit more. First, generally, how much effort has Vietnam put to the education in the technology field?
Yeah, sure. I think when it comes to the technology field, the education first, I would highlight that Vietnam has one of the best basic school education system. It's the K-12. It shows that their PISA ranking is very high. It's not only higher than the neighboring country like Thailand or Indonesia, but even higher than some of the developed countries. The reason is the government, the Communist Party is very, very focused on education. And when it comes to the government budget, I think I read an article somewhere that the province, they have to spend at least 20% of their budget on education. So therefore, they create a very good school system for all the kids. And the equality in terms of getting into school is also quite good in Vietnam. So they have a good basic education. And then the second, what Vietnam stand out is that their teacher is very well managed. The teacher is very effective in teaching their subject. And then their KPI is directly linked to how good the students perform academically. So the teacher perform very well. So they have a very good basic education system. When students have strong background in math or in physics, they tend to prepare them if in future they want to take the technology major, for example. And currently, every year there are 1.2 million high school getting into the university. And maybe around 7 to 8% of people will choose IT as their major. So every year we will have stably about 70,000 or 80,000 IT students graduate and enter into the workforce. It's good comparing with the Southeast Asian country that they have so much supply of IT engineers, but it's still compared with the demand, there is a shortage. So our company like FPT said, we ask, why do you grow 20% per year every year? Why can't you grow 30% or 50% if you see the market is doing so well? And they said the market is very big. The only reason is the the HR shortage. So only so many IT graduates for them to recruit. So to address the engineer shortage, I think they are doing okay, but to address the shortage, the government make it easy for the leading IT company to set up education. For example, FPT, even they're a technology company, they do have a education business that's including university and the basic K-12. And for the university, it has been setting up more than 10 years ago, more than 15 years ago, and currently their university enrollment accounts for 18% of the whole country. And their university, 70% of people are choosing the technology major. And they are very successful in their university business, and the graduates, they will choose the IT job. They will go to FPT or other tech company for their first job, because the model is so successful. Another company, CMG, is also a technology company. They also get government support to set up their own university that they plan to have technology as the main major. So what I'm trying to say is that the government make the policy very easy for the technology companies to set up the university, so it can create the education opportunities for the IT major, therefore increase the future IT engineer supply. And the third is that when more and more semiconductor chip companies are looking at how to integrate Vietnam into the value chain, and the Prime Minister realized the importance of this development trend, and he has targeted by 2030, Vietnam need to have 250 engineers into chip and semiconductor industry. So that's a very ambitious goal. And now there are 5 universities, including FPT University, signing up the program, start to offer potential students with semiconductor as major. So now it's in the testing phase, and let's see how it goes.
Okay, that sounds very interesting. Well, like you mentioned already, AI is also presented in PYN Elite's portfolio through these 2 techno companies, FPT and CMG. Could you still tell us a little bit, what do these companies do and how does the AI trend affect them?
Okay. I will take FPT as an example. The FPT provide technology services and solutions for both domestic and the global market, because global market is bigger. So a lot of revenue is coming from global market. And when they provide service, they start from a small company, an easy job, and then gradually they move up the value chain. Now they are able to do very big project with how do I say, a lot of technology involved. And they have been in Japan for a very long time. So now they could they could deeply involved with the car manufacturer company. They provide the in-car software, and there are much more of the software they can do, software product they can do in the car. So the first is the technology solution and service. And then the second is every time when they provide some services, usually it's cloud related. And usually when it's cloud, that the customer frequently need a data center. FPT has telecom business that they have internet broadband, and they have data center. So with this infrastructure, it helped them to offer the technology solution for their clients. So their second is telecom. The third is the university I mentioned before. They make quite good profit from doing education business, but at the same time, it ensures the human supply for their own technology business. So that's the 3 things they do. And another company, CMG, is the same setup. They try to follow the successful story of FPT, and it's doing exactly what FPT is doing. And for how AI will impact the 2 business, last December, NVIDIA's Chairman Jensen Huang visited Vietnam, and eventually this year he signed a partnership with FPT. And the partnership is that FPT is their official delivery partner. NVIDIA foresee that there are a lot of Asian companies would like to buy their advanced chips for AI purpose, and by selecting FPT, FPT will have this priority to buy NVIDIA's chip, and then they can supply to their customer. By FPT being a delivery partner, it means that they have priority to secure chip supply from NVIDIA. Otherwise, the product is in too much demand. Ordinary enterprise, if they want to buy a chips from NVIDIA, they need to wait for many years, but FPT could get it faster. And by buying the chips and building up factory, then they will rent out the AI factory to their prospective clients. And the initial investment for FPT is USD 200 million. And then they foresee they could make 20 million profit per year from this investment. And by having AI factory, it also built to help them to offer more AI related service to their clients. So I think it brings good growth story in the long term for both FPT and CMG. CMG is likely to do some partnership like that. NVIDIA have visited CMG's data center. They are very happy with what they have seen. I would say that the days that they are signing a partnership is quite soon.
Okay, that's really interesting. Well, then our last topic of today's interview will be the bank. So let's dive into that. So
Yes.
bank stocks have a 48% weight in PYN Elite's portfolio, and also they have a big weight in the Vietnam stock market overall.
Yes.
Firstly, how has the bad debt situation developed generally in the Vietnam stock market, but also in the banks that PYN Elite has in their portfolio?
Yeah, I have quite timely updates. I just met maybe 6 or 7 banks last week. So I have asked them how's the NPL, the bad debt situation. And the general feeling I got is that because the economy is improving, so every new loan they have dispersed out, the new bad debt formation is slowing down. So it means the new bad debt is slowing down, but they also have their existing bad debt. And the bank said, frankly, for the existing bad debt, it will stay on their balance sheet for a little bit longer. What they have explained to me is that when a customer defaults their loan, to maintain the customer relations, the bank try to let the customer sell the collateral first. And when the customer could sell collateral, they can pay back to the bank. It's good for maintaining the relation with the customer instead of the bank take the collateral back and forced to sell at a price that customer is unhappy about. And because the real estate market is still like slowly recovering, so liquidity for handling those collateral is low. In the past, it takes 2 months for the customer to sell the collateral, but now it takes 6 months for the customer to sell the collateral. However, they felt it's important to keep customer relation and give customer more time. So what they are saying is the new bad debt is slowing down, but the existing bad loan, it will take time to reduce. So we probably will see the bad debt situation in second quarter and third quarter flat. It probably is flat. And then by fourth quarter, I think we will see it's coming down. That's the general bad debt situation. When it comes to our bank, one of our top holding is NB Bank. In first quarter, their NPL was a little bit high and make market a little bit surprised. But they just told me that they have solved one big customer's problem. So that customer is no longer an NPL. So that will make the NPL reduce by 0.5% quarter-on-quarter basis. It means a good improvement. And also their group 2 is the loan that's slightly overdue, but does not become a bad debt yet. That group 2 loan has sharply reduced from 8 trillion to 5 trillion. It means 3 trillion loan has been paid back and become normal. So that's a very good development. So that's a good news for us.
Yeah, that's interesting, and how great that you had just discussed with banks, so we got a recent update. Well then,
Yes.
lastly, let's dive into one particular bank. So the
Yes.
position in Sacom-pankki is PYN Elite's biggest position, forming 16.5% of your portfolio. And the bank
Yes.
and it has gone through an asset restructuring process for several years, and it's now finally completed. But
Yes.
also 32.5% of the bank's stocks are owned by TRAMB, but the State Bank of Vietnam has the right of possession for them. And they are meant to be auctioned to new owners. And PYN Elite expects that the auction would result in the bank receiving 20 billion dong, which is about 720 million euros, back to its equity. This sounds exciting. Could you explain the situation more in detail, and what are PYN's estimate for the company for the upcoming years?
Yeah, I will try my best. It's a quite complicated situation. I think there are quite a lot of misunderstanding on the topic. First, Zhang Bai, he 10 years ago, he ran one bank called Southern Bank very terribly, both careless lending or even fraudulent practice. So that bank was effectively bankrupt. But before it officially bankrupt, this Mr. Zhang Bai used all kind of ways to finance buying Sacom-Bank, and he either borrowed money or he through various ways take money from his own Southern bank. And when he bought enough Sacom-Bank, he forced a merger. Sacom-Bank was in good shape, but Southern Bank was effectively bankrupt. And when he got enough vote to force the merger, and he made the share swap ratio 1 Sacom-Bank shares equal to 0.8 Southern Bank. It's very unfair because one bank is a good bank, the other bank is effectively bankrupt. So when he put this bank together, then it bring our Sacom-Bank into big trouble. And when the merger concluded, and when people start to look at what the new bank, how much bad debt it has, so that time it has I think more than 70 trillion. So that's more than 2.8 billion 10 years ago. And that time Sacom-Bank, the shareholder equity is only 1 billion. So effectively, even the new bank is bankrupt. So what Zhang Bai has been doing is he bankrupt one bank, and then before the bank went bankrupt, he merged and brought down another bank. And the central bank and government in Vietnam don't want bank bankrupt because who take care of the depositors. So what the central bank has been doing is that Zhang Bai has been doing wrong, and he has to go to jail, and he sit in jail term for 7 years. And at the same time, he owns 32.5% stake in Sacom-Bank, and well, he still owns it, but he cannot vote because no one wants him to involve with a bank operation anymore. He cannot vote. He just owns the shares. And because he caused so much damage, as I said, almost 2.8 billion 10 years ago, so all his assets are earmarked to compensate for the damage he caused for the banking system. So the SPV, have the right to vote on behalf of the 32.5% of the stake, but it doesn't mean the government or the central bank own that stake. So when the what they are trying to do is that when the bank gradually becoming profitable, and they could compensate the loss in the past, then when they do the auction, the new owner will pay for that stake, and then that stake will be the 32.5% of the stake will be used to compensate the loss that Zhang Bai has caused to the banking system. And I have said in the past it's 2.8 billion, and in 2017 it was 2.8 billion. And when Sacom-Bank look at this 2.8 billion bad debt, and some they have collateral, the collateral is real estate or business, and some are just without any collateral, it's just loss. So over the past 8 years, from 2017 to today, Sacom-Bank was able to recover 50% of the bad debt. They sell the real estate, then they can recover the bad debt. So it's no longer bad debt anymore. But the other 50%, there is no collateral to sell. So they have to use their own profit to cover that loss. So that's another more than 1 billion loss. So from 2017 to up to even today, Sacom-Bank, the bank business is very profitable. But every year, whatever money they make, they try to allocate some profit to compensate that loss that they cannot get back otherwise. And from 2017 to 2022, each year they spend on average 65% of their pre-tax profit to compensate on that big loss. So because how they the accounting is a little bit complicated. Sometimes they deduct revenue, sometimes they deduct they book provision expenses. So it makes the bank appear very unprofitable and very inefficiently run. So with this share auction, first it will recover 20 trillion book equity to the bank at one go. And the second is because they no longer need to do any provision for the historical loss. The bank true profitability will show, and people will realize it's a very profitable bank. Yep. I hope I made it more clear instead of more complicated.
Yeah, at least for me. Thank you so much for that. And also thank you, Maggie, so much for this interview. It was really nice to have you here, and I wish you a great summer.
Yeah, thank you very much, Sarah. It was very nice to talk with you, and I'm very happy to share this information with our investors.